peace is never preached. In circle, you gotta keep it smaller than a pea. You'll see cross my heart, rest in peace, another season. Now put them up. Tell them I just want some peace. Hey, I just want some peace. Hey, I just want some peace. A little bit for you and a little bit for me. 2 times, let's go. Hey, I just want some peace. Hey, I just want some peace. Hey, I just want some peace. A little bit for you and a little bit for me. To get to where I'm at, I put it all on the line. When you know somebody that know me, ask me if I'm lying. Ask them how much time I done put into the ground. What's crazy, what's up with me for rocking those girls in. Instead, I gotta put up with they fake in this statement and all this other stuff. I gotta deal with the statement. They don't even you how many risks I'm taking. Maybe I won't have this many fake friends hating. I'm barely getting sleep. Now I won't stop racing. Thinking to myself, I can't wait till I make it. Nanny and Nathan, ain't no need of an answer. Wasn't flexible for people wanting me to do back then. But they was when I was looking for a back and now I need it up front. I don't want nothing on the back end. They gotta pay me. Can't you see? This man ain't had enough. Me. Come on. Hey, tell them I just want some peace. Hey, I just want some peace. Hey, I just want some peace. A little bit for you and a little bit for me. 2 times, let's go. Tell them I just want some peace. Hey, I just want some peace. Hey, I just want some peace. A little bit for you and a little bit for me. Say peace, y'all. Peace. That's how we gotta live in peace, y'all. We gonna spread peace all around the world. My name is Scan the God, but I go by the name Scan. I got my own nonprofit called Scan, and it stands for Saving Children Across the Nations. So I'm doing things here and in Liberia. So thank y'all. Peace.
She coming for breaking my body.
Wow. Give it up for Sam. Save the children across all nations. Let the children play. Wasn't that inspirational? Peace in the land. Chubby, what we got?
We got some peace.
Stay away. You want to hear some jokes?
Yes.
You know I can tell jokes. Can you answer this? I want to go in it. So we told Weah, we said we want one time, 2 days to go back. Then Weah was not answer this. Now go in it. Say yo. So the next time, Freedom FM microphone coming up with him. He said, I'm not talking to you. I'm going to America. And at the door, you can go be talking to me. I'm not talking to you. And I want to talk inside the radio no more. Then I go and see the baby on King's FM. I said, oh, and you say you're not going to talk again. You know you have a microphone, Jeremy. But I want elder than I want paramount chief. I want chief there. Now the people there who Arizona comes there, when you president, they can't eat nothing. Okay, I'm getting a signal. Any moment, His Excellency President Weah is interrupted. The two wouldn't wait coming to have you. When it happened, one guy was here. Eh? Are going to that? Okay. So the small people they work a small connected party. They get small people. In fact, they say the 7%. But next year there will be 2%. Allah? Allah? Okay. You're not going there? Okay. Well, let yourself from making 1%. So their own, they say that America will make them president. So they spend all their own money there in America. Then the people that were in Liberia, they say the people suffer. Then they can't get a job. They can't make a job. That's what a good thing. The bad thing. And you say the people is suffering, then you must get the people something to do. Don't bring your money here, you give it to one man. What will be letting all kind of la thing there? You're not seeing secret service behind the president today? You're not seeing it? All the big black card and the white people. They were all behind the president. We can't even go near himself. Yeah. Then the man said, they detained the president to New York. They're not getting secret service. The president not in secret society. But they're getting security. The people that work in secret society, they struggle with all kind of things. Eh? They can struggle. We're not suffering, we're not struggling. It was raining today. Everyone in the rain. Anybody go outside? Go outside. So we're not going inside. The rain was falling on we. We ourselves were dancing in the rain. And the one what will happen next year. When all of us we pull it together with each other, we say we're going to Liberia, we're going voting for our president. Eh? We're not understand that one. You're not going there? We'll go, we'll put our own name there. That's what the plan to do, what kind of registration thing. I want to go there. But what we used to do that, I would do it. God told us that the one go bring machine. So machine will kind of voting for us. Something is that machine there. We want to marry. They want chicken wing. They want chicken wing. You know, we can't do that one. The one we are talking to them to the UN. He said that Bureau that the only country where in Africa where the thing what we call democracy, where they have been good. Anything you want talking, you talking. Nobody in jail. Where you say you want to be president or you want to be senator or you want to be somebody, because you want to be somebody that they put you in jail. Now, Bureau that not Rwanda. If I send you Rwanda when you want to be somebody, when that man not lay up in there, they can put you in jail and they say you run away from jail. Nobody see you again. Eh? But I was 7% that man went in there. The man who can catch a bunch of people there and tie their hand. Yeah. That the man went in there. Who we left? Okay. Who we waiting for? Who do we have? Who do we want? Who are we voting for? Manina ni kekula kodo. Manina ni kekula kodo. Who will kekula kodo ya? Okay. All of we know it. So, the boy, yeah, the bro. Yeah, the bro. They were going to school. When they come from school, they go They do their hard work before they will eat. One day, the big boy, and then Jim and boy, they come from school. Then their man, he was Zeze. Then their father, he was Mose. So, Jim and boy come from school. Jim said, boy, yo, Jim had a big boy now. He said, Mipa, I'm not doing nothing. I'm going to tell that my food there. I'm going to eat it. When she said talk, I'll tell her, I'm in Jim. My pa can't talk. I tell you, say, when you come from wet meat, and what you should before you eat. So boy said, Mipa, and there's something that happened here. I mean, I put it on so people I'll go to my way. I went through the piazza before I eat up. Now when you talking, you want your home. So they say go in the market, they say come back. Boy finish eat, Junior finish eating. And now what it is? Then put a boy inside, and then that over there. So she looked at you long time. She said, boy, what the plan of the name? Now what did you hear? She said, oh, this school where I'm going to, where I can't be big man. I be public welfare minister. You will still want me to be watching that teacher there? Eh? Say, I'm not watching that teacher. Let Pa Mose come. So Pa Mose come that day. You see all the teacher there. Not talk. If any eating, you go and lay down. So in the net. Hey, you're so in the net. Okay. So in the net. Gio, boy, all the two BB sisters that they go to pay. Pa Mose wake up. It's the same thing he made in my house. The thing how we can do the income say you'll be public welfare minister. When you go to your own house, the thing will be public welfare minister. Now you my own. Then Gio was sleeping. He let us sleep again. He sleep on his stomach. So, Pa Mose go, he take Junior from, he take boy from them easy. He go boy one side. Junior was sleeping. He take that rat in there. He get it to him one time on that ball. Junior, Pa Mose was just beating. He said, Pa, what did I do? What did I do? He said, that your problem where joy you want me. And you now straight in the house here. You not doing that your job. You think you will get problem where job? Eh? They are not problem where minister yet. Her mom was selling inside Joe Bar Market. One bag of red, said 1975. She do it until she said that woman to not tell you there. She go be engineer. You know engineer? My gosh. You know engineer? Okay. Now the people who can be building the road, they be breaking the mountain down. Eh? Is that no English? Isn't that a good job? So that is discipline where our people then will be giving us. Go to school. Go to school. You come home, you're supposed to do something, you do it. You're giving up for our people who have been said. Strong woman out there. Yeah. That grassroots. No, on a serious note, I listened to the old mom when President Weah dedicated the Joba market. I live on the old road before I went to Mama Point. And yeah. And her story is that somebody gave her $25. And she didn't want to use the $25 to go buy food for 1 day or 2 days. So she bought a bag of rice to go sell in Joba market. One bag of rice. You don't get no table. She was selling on the ground. And she turned that one bag of rice over. After then she was putting 50 cents susu every day. She put 50 cents. With more end, she get sometimes $15, 50 cents, or $16. Then she pay the susu man or susu bar 50 cents. Then she take that other money, she turn it around again. From one bag of rice, she started getting 1.5 bag of rice, 2 bag of rice. She do it until she get table. Today, she the superintendent for Joba Market. She's the superintendent for Joba Market. And her daughter is public works minister. Success story. Success story. You know, these things are the things that some of our friends or brothers and sisters, they don't like to see. Why should people from the slums, you know, from who find their daily bread from desolate places, why should they come to prominence in their own country? You know? As I look in the faces here, and look behind me, there is something that says, let the children play. And there's one woman, she still feel young at 70. Stand up, Sis Mariah. Yeah. Let the children play. The history of the Liberian Marketing Association started off with her mom, Mary Beck. Mommy Baker, the Raleigh Market. You know, every time she tells me the story, and I see how the LMA, the Liberian Marketing Association, is growing, and she tells me there's more to be done. You know, I hope she gets back home one day and meet her with the management, the leadership of the LMA, and share her vision, what her mom, her late mother, had taught for that organization. You know, all of us here, we are inspired by somebody within our families.
Sorry, this is KMTV. We are bringing you live programs from New York. President George Weah is expected to speak to cross section of Liberians. Recently, as you know, President George Weah, in a few hours ago, delivered a speech to the United Nations. He spoke on a wide range of issues. A couple of Liberians gathered at that ceremony, outside that ceremony, to welcome the leaders. So after that program, his message to the United Nations, President George Weah is expected to interact with his people, having been to the US for a long time since the COVID pandemic. He's back, spoke to the United Nations, addressed the war of a situation in Liberia, gains his country is making in terms of economic development, security, gender equity. So we also go into that message from President George Weah a few hours ago when he addressed the United Nations. But we are still keeping our eyes on the program there that will be held very shortly. Momentum is already, people are already seated, but they are just awaiting the Liberian leader to come and give his message to them. And most of them want to meet him in person, interact with him, and just to know how's the reality in the ground, because they have been campaigning and they are still campaigning for his second term bid. So the hall include mostly partisans or supporters of the Congress or Coalition for Democratic Change. That is, they are there awaiting President George Weah to come and address them. But our eyes are still on that program. We are laying from Jide Hard Talk. Let's be clear. We are doing a relay because we don't have our reporter station in New York at that event. So we'll be relaying from Jide Hard Talk, their social media page, and broadcasting to our audience. So we do not support any campaign message. We are independent and we just here to bring the message to our audience just as it is. So we are momentarily going to go back over to the program, but let's just give you highlights from what's going on. What did President George Weah spoke about when he addressed that general body? As we keep our eyes on the big program that is to be held, that is ongoing, but they are waiting President George Weah to come in and speak to them. But today, President George Weah met. He spoke at the United Nations General Assembly, where over 150 world leaders, dignitaries, and other big organizations like the UNFPA, UNDP, UNHCR, all of the UN organizations were in attendance, and President Weah had that moment to speak to the world, that great moment to speak to the world. And he said a lot of things to the world. He started his speech by looking at the challenges face the entire globe, the war in Ukraine, the increase in petroleum and other prices, price racketing throughout the world. As you know, there's a war in Ukraine. President Weah started his speech all about that. He went on to looking at the theme of the UN General Assembly, talking about peace and security, gender equity, women empowerment, and climate change. So that was the focus of the theme of the UN program 77 convention that was held in New York. So President Weah spoke about that too. And now let's break them down. What did he say about these things? Looking at women empowerment, he said his government will continue and is supporting women empowerment in Liberia. He named a couple of funds, the ECOWAS 50 million project for women empowerment. He named the EU, the European Union, Spotlight Initiative to end harmful practices. That is the FGM in Liberia. Women empowerment, providing them macro loans to empower marketeers in Monrovia and throughout the country. That was one of the things he said about women empowerment, and that he was also excited that gains are being made, and his government is doing very well in that area. On the issue of security, President Weah told the world that Liberia is a peaceful environment. His administration is jealously protecting the country's fragile peace. And he said the United Nations mission as evidence, Liberia now is contributing to other peace initiatives around the world. He named Mali as for example, where a group of soldiers I think a battalion or a group are currently in Mali helping with the United Nations peace mission there. And he said that there is no political prisoner in Liberia because there is freedom of speech, media reforms. He has supported the justice system, that is the judiciary. There has been great reform in media, freedom of speech, and things like that. So that was the issue of free speech security. On the issue, President Weah pat himself on the back of his government. He said the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, is sending a positive sign for his government. He said the programs are very positive. Quoting the IMF, the IMF is a big international body that scrutinize support governments across the world. So he said the IMF has given his government positive sign that that they are doing great. On the issue of inflation, he said inflation has reduced in Liberia, and they are making great impact. Despite COVID, the COVID virus struck the entire world and everything went crashing. So he said, yes, despite COVID, he acknowledged COVID, but said his government is making strides following COVID. And he lauded the fight against corruption, grief. He said yes because the IMF said government is doing well, but on that issue of grief, governance, and equal distribution of wealth. So President Weah said the issue on the MRU. He said his voice and the voice of the Liberians are very clear that in the Mana River Union, that those who uh, come to power through guns or the military takeover, that's the word he used, through military takeover, must turn back power to the civilian in the most possible and quick manner. So that was one of the things he said. That's what he stands for. If you take over through military means, you have to come back to civilian means. Now, big thing into this election, that was the major focus of President Weah's speech. Also, Liberia peace is still fragile. President Weah said as the 2023 election draws nearer, he will ensure he pledged commitment to ensuring that election is held free and fair. And also, he said we must let people decide and respect their decision. President Weah said that the people will have to decide. If they decide, hey, I'm a one-term president, I will accept and respect their decision. So even if I'm elected president, the opposition should respect and accept the decision of the Liberian people. That's what one of the things he said. He said, it is upon all of us, not only me, not only my government or my supporters, but all of us, whether you're in the diaspora, you're in Liberia, you're in political party, you're in the church, you're in the mosques, social, political, it is upon all of us to protect that peace and accept the results that come out from there. So that was one of the issues President Weah said, because he said the war is watching. The war is watching what we are going to do, because President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former Liberian President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, ruled for 12 years, governed Liberia for 12 years, and she was the first democratic form of government that turned power peacefully to President George Weah. And that's one of the things he said. And on the issue of climate change, President Weah said his government is committed to that. His government is going to ensure that the climate is protected in Liberia. Wetlands are protected because these are things that impact the climate negatively. So that's just some of the highlights from President Weah's speech at the United Nations 77th General Assembly today. He was speaking on a wide range of issues, looking at poverty, women empowerment, climate change, security, peace, and development. Liberia, he said, is gaining a lot of stuff on that. So after the program, President Weah held a couple of meetings. We saw pictures on social media that he met with U.S. President Joe Biden and his wife. So Liberian leader, President George, we also met with them, looking at the issues. I showed they had a tete-a-tete conversation, what's going on in Liberia, and and how can the Biden help the Weah government. As you saw, we saw pictures also too of him holding hands with former United States ambassador to Liberia, Linda Thomas Greenfield. She's now the UN ambassador. So she's very instrumental in helping Liberia because she has been like in Liberia for a lot of years. And I showed President Weah is also it's also upbeat that his connection with her can help change things around. On the issue of corruption and other stuff, that's why I've been training social media. Why did President Weah not focus more on the issue of corruption? And the issue of agriculture was not also mentioned in the president's speech. The issue of education, these were other things, but others are arguing that, hey, this is not part of the theme for the conference. So let's see if we can go over let's see if we can go back to the program that is taking place in New York, where Liberians have gathered to interact face to face, put away all the security protocols, all the big meetings he's been having up in New York with diplomats. They want to engage him. His supporters are now assembled at hall, and they want to engage him. But we are going to be relaying from GDET Hard Talk TV that is stationed at that program because we do not have a live broadcast from that area. So let's take a listen again what's going on in the hall. But the views expressed are not the views of KMTV at the hall. I show most of the partisans or supporters that are there are partisans of the Coalition for Democratic Change. So some of the words to say jargons, we do not utter it. We are not in support of it. We are just an independent media broadcasting live from there. So let's see if we can go back to the hall again and take a listen, and I will come back. And the moment we are still keeping our eyes on President George Weah to speak to Liberians there. Let's see if we can get that once again from
Jumping into the line now, he did it. Man, looking at all. Now, he did it, man, looking at all. That 10 pound of me, and finish. She go home. She didn't tell us how you. The next day, as soon as she got on the road, the man saw her. And then that government behind the bush steady up. She had a big bed, it's done a 20 pound me was inside. Chop them, make the line. 20 pounds deep. Lion eating. Lion look at her for long. Say, no one up. Yeah. You say you got one up? She tell her because the lion girl cross her. She don't walk up. She tell her. She come by the third day. You want back? You know the cow whole foot, the whole leg, two of them. I want to almost 70 pounds. She gave it to the lion. Eat it. Now look at her. She said, I don't want to drink. Yeah. Lion said, you want to drink. All the things she was doing, when the man come from where the man I got food. Eh? No. The lion will be out manager over, but the lion. When the man come home, the man not got food to eat. The man will fail. What's that food? So this day now, the day the woman come and get it. The Sarawa. You know what she gave him that 2 cow folk, the whole leg. She touched your head. You rub your head. And you look at her. Open your teeth. Then she'll go ahead. She touched your head again. You look at her. This day, that woman killed the whole cow. She taking the man money, oh. She taking the man money. She buying meat for 9. She killed a whole cow. The lion eating the cow, eating the cow, eating the cow. The lion reached the cow head. When they put it in there, the sanawa started dropping. She pulled a small cup. She grabbed the sanawa. She said, I think you'll be hungry. She gave the sanawa to Omer Musa. She said, Omer Musa, send 2 more you tell me to bring you the lion sanawa. I get it. She said, oh, I thought you finished forgetting.
Again, this is KMTV. We are bringing you live program from New York, where President George Weah is expected to meet with Liberians. Our eyes are all there for that live broadcast coming to you from GDET Talk because we don't have a correspondent there, but it appears like we are going to end this and wait until President George Weah mount the pulpit to interact with Liberians. So this is KMTV. Don't go away. We'll be back very shortly when President Weah start his message to Liberians there. So have a great day and be posted. We'll be back shortly. Thanks for viewing.